Welcome to the DocuSign Agreement Cloud. Every industry, every organization, every department, everywhere in the world relies on agreements. The DocuSign Agreement Cloud finally allows you to digitally connect, automate, accelerate, and simplify the way you prepare, sign, act, and manage agreements better. We call that being more agreeable. DocuSign Agreement Cloud.
Hello and welcome to our next session in the Digital Practice channel. Just there we showed an advert from our silver sponsors DocuSign. To find out more about the DocuSign Business Cloud, please do visit their booth via the Exhibition Hall tab. Our next interactive session will look at building a digital practice and will be moderated by Lily High, founder of Bookkeeping by Lily. Before I pass you over to Lily, I'd just like to remind you that if you have any questions for our panel, please do submit them in the live discussion area on your screen. We'll have some time dedicated towards the end of the panel session for Q&A, so if you can submit some questions, that would be great. So without further ado, I'd like to pass you over to Lily. Over to you, Lily.
Hi, Laura. Thank you, Laura, and everyone who are attending this live with me and three other panelists this afternoon. So topic today is building a digital practice. So we will be as our personal and working lives continue to move online, the way that we do business are clearly transforming. So we see full adoption of mobile phones and social media. All clients are digitally connected online the entire time, especially during this challenging time. So where social media has changed the way we communicate, where technology has changed the way we work, in a world where technologies have changed the client relationships. What do accountants and their practices need to do to remain relevant and competitive? That's the question that we want to ask today. So today we have three experts with us to share their view in creating digital accounting, the challenges and the benefit of adapting the digital transformation. Without further ado, we have Martin Cooper, Director of Cooper Financial Services, which has only established his digital practice 2.5 months ago. Paul Gardner, CEO of Fresh Accounting, who is an advocate on Xero. Alex Hong, Chairman of Hong Kong New Emerging Technology Education Association, who is very passionate about technology and AI. So why don't we start with Martin and Paul and Alex. Tell us who you are, share your role and the nature of your business, and why are you particularly interested in this topic?
So I'll go first.
Martin. Yes. Yes.
Thanks, Lily. Thanks. So my name is Martin Cooper, as mentioned. So I'm a director and a shareholder in a 100% virtual bookkeeping and management accounts company. So when we talk about 100% virtual, literally that. So no fixed office. We've never met any of our clients face to face. It's truly sort of virtual in that respect. I'm based here in Singapore. The other founder and shareholders based in Spain. We have our marketing and other accountants in Canada. So we're truly sort of spread across the globe. As mentioned, we only incorporated in May, but we were going for a couple of months before that. So to start the business during COVID is probably the best time to do it in terms of making it trying. So if it works during this time, it should work during any time. And COVID, as I'm sure we'll hear through this presentation, is just a boost in terms of making people digitize and use the sort of virtual accounting services. So certainly from my business perspective, it's so far so good.
Awesome, Martin. I love that how you are. During this COVID time, you started your business, and that is so inspiring. So we pass on to Paul.
Hello there. So I'm just trying to struggle with my mute button. So hello, I'm Paul, the CEO of Fresh Accounting. The business was born in Hong Kong in January 2014. We established an office in Singapore late 2016 and was in operation from 2017. We have three distinct services that we offer to clients. One which is accounting, so accounting for SMEs. The second is the financial director and the CFO service. Quite often when clients have the accounting, they might want to tap into the CFO and FD remit on top of the accounting. And the third element or pillar is the implementation of cloud-based accounting software. So from small businesses through to mid-sized businesses to large global multinational SMEs, which will then become more of a digital finance transformation project. We just have under 20 people across both offices in Hong Kong and Singapore. And it really has been an interesting time to build a business where clients operate in the region, in Asia. If you start a business in Hong Kong or Singapore, you will expand beyond that region and that city. So we've really seen it interesting as our clients have grown. We've been able to grow with our clients regionally, which is why we have the two offices. COVID-19 certainly has been a fairly challenging time for clients and for us. And obviously that's a questions we talk about later and how we are adjusting to the new norms. But I think by building a zero-only practice, that has really helped us take care of clients. So we're not trying to look after multiple softwares and get ourselves confused on the different softwares that we're going to come across. Everything we do is zero, and we are the third zero partner in Hong Kong and the first to platinum in Asia. And I think everything we do is really focused on cloud accounting, which is driven by zero.
I think you have mentioned zero 3 or 4 times now.
Sorry.
So now we can go to Alex Hong. Can you introduce yourself?
Nice to meet you all here. And I'm the founding chairman of Hong Kong New Emerging Technology Education Association. And actually what we are doing is promote the newest technology, especially in IT for Hong Kong. And but in the last 4 years, we have many competitions and events in mainland China, in other European countries, and of course in Asian countries. And we have members from different industries, not only from IT, but we try to find the best solution, especially nowadays we are focused more in artificial intelligence. And hope today we can share more about how we can apply technologies and also especially AI and neural network to for you guys, especially you are in the accounting and finance business. Nice to meet you all.
That's awesome. I can't wait to actually jump in and chat to you guys about all digital. So a little bit about myself. My name is Lily. I am actually from Melbourne, Australia. We are in totally lockdown now, so digital is really great. It's a very useful tool for us right now. So I have a bookkeeping business operating for 5 years. Yeah, so it's basically a summary of myself. So let's just jump into the questions, shall we? So I want to ask the first question to Martin. Basically, I understand that your business has been operating, since May, which is like 2.5 months old. So fully virtual and evolving as well. Can you please share what sparks you from starting a fully virtual bookkeeping and accounting practice during this, especially during this challenging time? And in your own opinion, what does a digital practice look like?
So the spark actually was the other founder. She finished a university in Canada and worked for a company called Bench, based in Vancouver. But they had bespoke software which they developed, which is certainly one route to do all this kind of stuff. But the logic behind the company, when we both spoke about it, that we set up, was there's no need to have this software and all your own sort of bespoke solutions to various problems that actually exist in full already. So the logic was sort of out with COVID, the fact that all the software that you need to solve the digital problem now fully exists. If you're trying to convince yourself or trying to convince others that you need to do it, you're not trying to blaze a trail, or as this company Bench did, develop your own programs to do it with all the risks associated with that. Everything exists, whether it's Xero or QuickBooks or all a myriad of apps that are attached to those bits of software. And more people understand it. There's a standard sort of bell curve about how people take up new technology, starting with the sort of innovators to the early adopters, the early majority. And we're still in that sort of early phase. So there's many people out there that are very susceptible to understanding and agreeing to this kind of thing. We do meet a few people that don't get it. We call them the laggards in that kind of bell curve adoption approach, but these we just leave alone. At some point they'll understand and they'll kind of catch up. But so kind of in summary, it's out with COVID, which, as I say, we started for a couple of months beforehand before it really got so intense as it had done over the last 3 or 4 months. But just the software clearly exists without great risk, and the mentality of enough people existed that they would understand what you're trying to do. So it's the bringing together of these two things, and COVID really will just jet propel it, I think, because people are forced into this. Even the people that either didn't understand it or weren't thinking about it now will have to make their businesses continue.
Exactly. I love what you're saying there, because because I'm from Melbourne, Australia, we totally locked down here. So the only way that we can communicate or do anything for our clients are through digital. So for people who have not adopted the digital space, they are literally forced into a situation now that they have to adopt it. And it is so possible that it is so easy and user friendly as well. And sometimes it's just a no-brainer that, like everyone should be on the digital platform, because it's just ease of, saving time and everything else, right? So Paul, now to you. So now we have heard from Martin, who has just started his virtual business. I would love you to share your view of digital practice as you established your business since 2014. So did you see any growth in accounting sector in adapting the digital transformation? What was it like in 2014 compared to 2020?
Thanks, Lily. 6 years seems like a lifetime ago. Any cloud-based accounting software really was quite new. So I think going back before building a digital practice, my entire career has been in commerce. I've always worked in commerce, and having never worked in an accounting firm before and coming out to Hong Kong and actually building an accounting firm from scratch. What I think is interesting is I have come across working in various industries of time and billing, PR companies, creative agencies, etc. So having the building blocks of building a firm, in Hong Kong we have over 320,000 SMEs. We have 3,300 accounting firms doing CPA, audit, tax. It's quite a busy, crowded market. So as a management accountant, what I was trying to think of is what is missing? What is the need? What is the opportunity? We don't have sales tax in Hong Kong. We don't have payroll tax in Hong Kong. So we have the simplest form of accounting in the world. And actually, most businesses, not most, but quite a lot, would leave their accounting until the very end of the year. And then we start to look at profitability later down the line, not on a monthly basis. And so decisions will always be made after the year end has been closed, and an audit has been undertaken and a tax bill has arrived. And how do we save tax next year, for example? So I think building a digital practice, what I really want to do was to be able to have a service that wasn't really in existence before. So accounting through to CFO, through to the implementation of software, those three distinct services really created the basis of multidisciplinary practice. The second thing we really wanted to find was that we've got an idea of what is the service we want to offer, what sort of clients we want to help, what is the need of the clients. And actually, that was also very important, that you can find work anywhere, but try and find the clients that you can meaningfully help, engage with, and grow with and support with at that time. The third element was having a really good team, finding people that of a younger generation that can come in, step in, accountability, responsibility, an opportunity to jump into something without having a full job description, without having you know, a fully thought out, constructive job title and everything that comes with it. So we really wanted to build the services that were quite unique in Hong Kong. As our practice has grown, what we've seen is that this year, from social unrest through to COVID-19, we've really seen businesses still talking about growth, but we see a lot more businesses talking about survival and actually having to get through their current circumstances. And for us, because we are a digital accounting firm, everything we do, from time management, meetings via Zoom or WhatsApp to invoicing, everything we do is in the cloud. So actually, what we found is that we are best placed to help clients get through difficulties. So I think if we could actually practice what we preach, it really allowed us to help clients onto that journey. And whether it's the implementation, migrating a business that is a regional business at Hong Kong and Singapore and around Asia across to a cloud-based accounting solution from desktop, whether it's actually helping with some of the basic accounting needs to the more the complex accounting needs, like intercompany, for example, through to the CFO, financial director, and advisory, whatever my client feels that they need, we have that ability to offer it. And I think that was really important, to try and build something that was in 2014 that could be relevant and future-proof. And I think also, just one more thing before I pass on to you, Lily, is that the softwares that are around today are actually less than 10 years, roughly 10 to 15 years old. And there's this constant barrage of new software that's coming. And so having a relatively young team that will take time out to look at the newest software, when a client might mention something to us, we always take the time to look at it. And we have to find the softwares that we think can work best for our clients. And I think that's also very important, to build that young team to take care of clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you say you're nurturing your young team, because the younger generation is actually our future, right? So what does the future look like? Involves a lot of digital. I am sure of that, because like for Australian, like for my point of view in Australia, where we have payroll tax, we have the most complicated tax system in the whole wide world, and we are still adapting the digital platform. And it's so great to see the transformation, the working together, like with the tax office and each individual accounting practices. It's just worked well together, right? I actually have a question from our attendees. So I want to actually ask Martin about this. So could you share the competitive landscape in the digital practice? I guess when people are looking at transforming their actual retail or actual shop into a digital practice, they will be very mindful of, oh my gosh, maybe there are a lot of people out there that's doing it, and what's the competitive like?
So our focus is the UK, which I didn't mention before, but just so that's what I'll be talking about. So I think the competitive situation for purely digital is actually quite low at the moment. There's a website that's a marketing database, if you like. But the way that works is the key thing you type in is your postcode. And then the way the algorithm works or whatever is, if someone wants to keep within that postcode or close to that postcode, you'll get notification. So that is still stuck in the idea that there's a guy sat in the office that does his bookkeeping, someone brings him the papers, and he only works in a local town. And going to the next town would seem to be something he wouldn't want to do. Whereas, as I mentioned, our company is completely virtual and spread across 3 continents, and it really makes no difference. We don't have the need, but if someone really wanted something urgently, we could do a 24-hour focus onto it. They wouldn't notice; they just get the end result. So I would certainly say that the competition for the purely virtual is low from a UK perspective, which is good and bad. Good in the sense there's not much competition, bad in the sense that in terms of that bell curve I mentioned, there's still a lot of people that aren't really ready to adopt that kind of technology. But there's certainly plenty to go at. And as I also say, all the software and the sort of add-ons that you need already exist. You just have to carefully pick the ones that complement the way you operate your business. So my background was CFO, public company CFO, and the founder was sort of a bookkeeper at this bench company. So between the two of us, I could or could understand what the business needed, and the founder could see how the latest technology was sort of key objective. So no, I would say the competitive landscape is pretty low at the moment in the UK.
Thank you, Martin. So I want to ask Alex the next question. So in your point of view, why do you think technology is becoming more and more important in accounting industry?
Actually, I introduced my association before, and I haven't told you about my background. Actually, in the last 25 years, I worked in consulting business, mainly to help the clients to have a more digital or something from paper to a more digital world. And for accounting clients, okay, we have some in Hong Kong, and in fact, in Hong Kong, it's not easy to do this thing before COVID-19, and all the people were very traditional, okay, all with all the papers, okay. They will not have any. They will try to have for accounting firms. They will have a very big office and have a large team of people, and many graduates from universities, they will start their job to have accounting and auditing, doing very simple jobs, okay, but get a very good pay in the many years, okay, and but the mindset of the people in Hong Kong, I think that the thing is that not only the old guys, they have a traditional thinking. But the problem is that the young generation, even the young generation, okay, they will not use a digital way to finish the things, okay. But luckily, okay, or unluckily now is COVID-19. We need to have meetings through Zoom or other things, and even for in the last 6 months, we have a lot of requests about the cloud storage, cloud-based things to store the documents or things. Before that, all the things are even stored in some servers inside their companies physically, okay? Actually, from time to time, I tell them that it's very unsecure for you to put your server or system inside your office building, because when in case there's some fire or other things happens, you will lose all the things. But they still keep all the papers up to now, okay? But the problem is that I mentioned it's not about the old generation, it's about young generation. They will not subject because they will do the thing they just keep to do it, okay? And one thing I think in Hong Kong and Australia, in other UK or other, we have a similar accounting and auditing practice. First thing, we need to have some invoice and receipt, all the things, and then we need to have accounting clerk to input all all the hard copies, okay? Especially in Hong Kong, because we haven't the sales test. We actually we have used a lot of cash, okay? Even now, every day with cash, okay? But it's better now, but still comparing to mainland China, Hong Kong is lag behind for the digital payment. So that's why we still have a lot of different type of invoice, different type of receipts. We have no standards, and that's why what I suggest, okay, in fact, we are now pushing to have more, by using the AI, artificial intelligence, we can just, for example, you can have all the invoice receipts, and then we have a simple app, okay, simple app to take the pictures of the receipts, invoice, and then we try to process, okay, by using artificial intelligence to keep track of all the spending, all kind of different things. In fact, I know some vendors, they did before by using semi-automation methods, okay? And now it's more successful, but we're still on the way, but it's, I think it's better than before. And for the technology thing, okay? Is okay?
Yeah.
That answer? Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, like for people who are more traditionally wise, where they operate, they used to operate that way, and adapting a new kind of digital practice, it's initially, I would imagine that it's going to be a bit challenging. But I think the more that we introduce this kind of topic, the more that we, as the leaders in the industry, talk about it, I think the more that people will be more inclined to know more information about it, because it's definitely going to save a lot of time and a lot of manual work as well.
But I think one very important thing. One I want to say one important thing
in accounting
for the decision makers is you need to spend money on that, okay? Because from time to time when we talk about the technology projects, okay, they will say that we will use the less money to do the best thing. But nowadays, okay, we should think about how to make use of the money to replace the human beings, okay? Because a human beings is not so reliable, and also it's not durable, and also it will confine the size of your company in future. So, but the spending of how much, okay, you need to spend.
I guess
think you need to think about, you need to change the mind of for example, CFO, the CEO, and the percentage of spending is very important. That's what I want to say, because we need to change the mind. That's keep on using the less money and use more papers, and then to keep it alive for the businesses, it doesn't work.
It's all about mindset here. If you want to change or adapt a new challenging things, right? The things that people who doesn't really know yet. It's all about the mindset and saying yes, we want to change this. We want to change for the better, right? So back to Paul. In accounting point of view, what are the pros and cons when building a digital practice? What do you think?
We were pretty fortunate. Fresh Accounting, when it was established and born, it was 100% digital. So I think we didn't really, as a business, we didn't have multiple partners, or multiple directors. It was every decision was with one person, or it was rhetorical with myself. So the questions I would have to ask would be asking myself, is this a good idea? Yes, no, maybe. Let's see what we can do. So I think the actual reason why we went to a cloud accounting journey was the early clients, who are Australian and New Zealanders, were talking about certain cloud softwares that they really wanted to have. So when we started to think as our practice and our business, because coming from London to Hong Kong, again, the digital evolution of accounting firms really hadn't even reached London in 2014. So actually, when I arrived here to look at building something that was digital, it made sense. We don't have an office to start with, so I can work at a client's office, I can work in a co-working space, I can work from home. The ability for myself to see information anywhere, anytime is really important. But more importantly, as we brought in people into the team, actually they could work anywhere, anytime at a client's office. And we end up having an office for the team. So actually we could see that the fact that our clients were benefiting from a digital innovation and having a digital accounting solution, but we were as well. And actually the sharing of knowledge within the team. So the cons were really about having to learn something that is new, although as accountants, when you use one software, all softwares are fairly similar, that helps. But the sort of cons, we always say we don't have enough time to learn something, we're too busy. And I think from the beginning, it was, we have to make time. And when the early team members joined, who are still in Fresh today, it's really interesting to see that when we're working remotely or we're working in a different city, actually the ability to share information real time is really important. The sharing knowledge is there. And so I feel that the pros have been that we can work anywhere, anytime for clients. We can work anywhere, anytime collectively. Even with COVID-19, we've never had a lockdown in Hong Kong. So we've actually ensured we've kept the office open. In fact, some of the team wanted to come to work, to be in the office because they are living at home with parents and they didn't want to be at home using a laptop at the end of their bed, for example. So what we found was that you have the dual screen in the office and actually working together collectively. The idea is that we still have to have a sense of belonging, a sense of working together. So the cons for us were, the pros were far greater than the cons, but I do appreciate that the one con would always be, we need time to learn something. And I think that's the most important thing to do.
I absolutely love your answer because like with clarity and flexibility, these are all the key things that a new generation should adapt, or new kind of practice, digital practice, accounting, bookkeeping, or any kind of digital practice should be adapting, because we really want to know firsthand. If we want something, the information is there, we can get it ASAP, because that's how we work now, right, in this world. And we've got some question from the Slack card. I would like to go through it. So one of the attendees asked, how would you approach marketing a digital practice in a competitive market? I think I've asked Martin before. Paul, can you answer this, please?
I think that's actually quite an easier question for Hong Kong, purely because there are not that many digital accounting firms there. What we saw is that so many clients that we work with, their previous firms, or if it's outsourced accounting, would be using a QuickBooks and a MYOB, so a NetSuite or an SAP. And I think what we found was that marketing promise for us was that we can work anywhere, anytime. What we've seen is with clients over the past months, somehow the accounting system sits in the office, but the office is closed for whatever reason. And so actually the accountant can't get into access information. And I find that actually the marketing perspective is to be able to promote a fully digital accounting firm is much easier, because there's just not as many of us here in Hong Kong. Singapore is more competitive, but I feel that in general in Asia, there is, including Hong Kong, there's just not that many of us around. So the ability, I think, is to be able to offer services and demonstrate that with your existing clients. So the idea of saying it's digital and being one of the few and being a leader is very important. I think secondly, having case studies, having something that can promote your skill set. Yes, we've moved a business to a cloud-based solution. Yes, we're working with a client, and during COVID-19, this client has benefited from our service. I really feel that it's around case studies. It's around actually leading and demonstrating that you know your shit about software, that you know your software. And I think most importantly is it's hustling and not to be afraid to speak to people, go to events or attend webinars. I think the art of hustling is really, really important. But more importantly, when people have a problem, listen and find a solution to the problem that they're talking about, rather than something that is generic. And I think that is also an element around the marketing, which becomes more focused on listening to your potential customer.
Yep. Love everything that you were mentioning about. I personally have, like with marketing and digital, it's sometimes I think people are focusing on too much on marketing what they are doing and not actually thinking about what they are good at, what transformation they can actually bring for their ideal clients, right? Because as a digital platform, there are millions of people you can reach out to. You can use LinkedIn platform, you can use Instagram, you can use Facebook. There's millions, so many different channels that you can market yourself to be out there. The important thing is you have to show your own brand, your own voice in terms of how you can solve other people's problem.
And one more point to make, sorry, I think it's very important as well that when you build a business or a brand, communication, having empathy with potential clients and clients, but more importantly, it's about building a brand that is bigger than yourself. So actually, the idea of something that is multidisciplinary, so that it's audit, accounting, cloud-based tax, actually having other people within the team that are advocates. So again, that marketing comes from within. When you're speaking to your existing clients to move them, or to new clients, I really think it's important to have a team that support your decision. And that is also another marketing element, as opposed to spending lots of money on a nice glossy magazine. It's more important to ensure that that marketing comes from within the ambassadors.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I would love to ask Martin.
I was just going to say, the only thing I'd add to Paul's answer, which I thought was great, is just trust. If you can hear me, clearly I know the connection's a bit unstable, but trust is a key thing. So to demonstrate that you're qualified accountants, to demonstrate that you're part of the sort of bookkeeping association they have in the UK, that you're a Xero partner, you're using software that people kind of know about. That trust thing, especially when it's digital and people are a bit uncertain anyway, I think that's another sort of a key point to bring forward.
Exactly. I was going to ask your opinion about that, Martin, but you beat me to that. Amazing. So I want to go to the next question. So let's talk about fear now, right? Because a lot of people are fearful of, starting a digital platform, especially during this challenging time. We all know that it is probably one of the reasons why a lot of people are in that kind of procrastination zone and stopping them to do the things that they really want to do, right? So what are your advices when it comes to maintaining or better the quality of the service when everything is digitalized? What are the top key areas business should look at? Paul.
I think I'm going to hopefully answer the right question and not a different question. I think what is really important is that, I'm hoping it's the right question. I just lost you a little bit. I think what is really important is to stand out from your competition. It is quite hard. I know I saw a comment earlier about fee and how do you price, and fees are very subjective. So if you want to be charging a relatively low fee, you'll be charging a very low, a low fee for a low service. If you want to charge more, what are you going to offer for that? The traditional accounting firm would always charge an hourly rate for a service, but actually business owners, SMEs want to know what are they getting. So therefore you have to look at a sort of value pricing, which is X number of hours, which we think this is what it is, and this is the monthly fee that we will charge. So that becomes important, and then we need to monitor that. Are we going over on delivery or under delivery? Does this client take more work or not? I think most important as well is to ensure that the traditional accounting firms do have a high churn in employees. So how do we ensure we would keep a low churn, have a low churn so we don't keep losing people? Because that's also something that equally upsets a client if their accountant is leaving. So it's very important to find the right people, the ambassadors who can manage relationships with clients and potential clients. What we found is we always try to have at least 2 people working on each account. So therefore, if someone's sick, if someone's not here, someone else can step in and take over. So we don't have to wait for someone to return from annual leave or from sick leave. I think the most important thing as well is communication. And because when we have a closed system that can only be seen in someone's office, and if that person's not there, there's no access, that's fine. But the moment we move to cloud accounting, we have transparency, we have visibility, we have accountability. So actually, the client can see what we're doing. So actually, very important in terms of service level agreements, to make sure that if we're telling a client we're going to do something like reconcile bank weekly, we're doing that because the client can see what we're doing. So I feel that cloud accounting has actually making digital firms step up. We have to adapt and change to meet the newer working environment, what clients are expecting. And COVID-19 is also very driven in actually moving more businesses to the cloud. So actually, clients do have higher expectations if they're using an accounting firm that is a digital service or a digital practice. I hope that's the right question.
Yeah. Yes, I think these questions the pricing, because if you're going to charge per hour, you're going to be losing a lot of sleep. So value pricing is the way to go. The last question, I want to get the last question out to 3 of you because I'm very conscious of the time. So the last question will be, how do you increase the staff's digital experiences to be relevant and equipped to offer high value of service to customer? So Martin, can you answer this question in view of new business?
The question is, how do we get the staff capable to do the role? Is that right to understand?
Yeah. So how do we actually increase the staff digital experience so that they can still offer the high value service to the customer?
We wouldn't tell our clients, it's just really given the way Xero works and add-ons, is how relatively easy the process is. One of the things on the pricing strategy is you kind of emphasize a lot the convenience and the simplicity and all that kind of process saving. Then you have to be careful the client doesn't then see that as great, that sounds like a cheaper service to me. It may be a cheaper service, but it can't be too much cheaper. You know, there's that kind of careful balance. I mean, certainly what we've been able to really easily identify is people who are certainly capable of doing all the basic bookkeeping from relatively little experience or training. It's not a difficult process. Things like the accounting software that have been developed are designed intentionally to make it as straightforward as possible. The good thing is, from a sort of pricing perspective, it's still, you need to have that basic clarity on bookkeeping and that kind of stuff. So someone that doesn't understand accounting would still struggle with it. But you don't have to have that much background to make it perfectly capable. And then what the company does, it's sort of this sort of thin veneer that I think of between the client and our contractors, is add the sort of quality control. So you can get the bookkeeping done by relatively junior staff, and then you can have a quality control function. You know, people that are more experienced just to check that all the right steps have been taken and the numbers look correct at the end of the day, which is why you need someone more experienced at the end just to give all the numbers that kind of review. So I think it's a relatively easy process at the beginning, but you do need a decent quality control. And things, as Paul alluded to like Xero, the client can easily see, and therefore we can easily see if there's a set of books that aren't being reconciled on a regular basis. There are lots of invoices that haven't been done. So it's transparent from that perspective. So it's relatively easy to train, it's transparent how it's going along, and then you have a process.
Yeah. So with Paul, can you answer this question in the view of established business?
Yes. So I unfortunately left school when I was 17. I started working when I was 18. And I studied for my degree in accounting while I worked, and a lot of my experience from the 18 onwards in accounting in commerce. So my big belief is learning by mistake. On job training, you learn as you go along, and you'll have very motivational managers or directors who will train you and develop you, and then others who may not. And I think the key that we've really applied into Fresh Accounting is when the team join, we try to have training. And so the team can learn how to use the cloud-based accounting solutions, such as Xero. The onboarding, so the idea of the training, the learning, development, working together, learn one software, do it well. The idea of learning together as a team, so if you get stuck, learn together, and we have regular training sessions with software companies that can teach us how to use software, and then we do our own self-studying as well. And then when the team find a new software that they like, they will spend their own time in work or even after work to look at something to see how that could work. And so that could be Expensify or Sin7, Spotlight reporting for consolidation, Receipt Bank, Approval Max, which some of the team was speaking at earlier today. It was very important for us to actually be able to look at how we learn collectively. More importantly, for a Western culture, I really want the team to learn from their mistakes. And so therefore creating the accountability and transparency. I think that's something that's quite important, where if we don't know how to do something, we simply don't do it and hope someone else will do it for us. And I'm really trying to ensure that the Western culture and the Asian culture can work collectively together, but to encourage the team to grow within it. And I think for me, that's the most important, that the team keep learning. And we attend conferences where we can, locally, regionally, internationally. And that, before we joined the call earlier, was very, very important. And it's been very unfortunate to see a year where no one can now travel. So face-to-face meetings and other sort of training and self-development isn't really there for us. But the most important thing with the accounting and finance show is a good example. We have webinars like this where we've been brought together to share ideas and knowledge, and people are listening in and listening to what we have to say. So I think it's really important just to find ways for the team to keep learning, but actually the empowerment from within. But most importantly as well, where clients want something, they have somebody to speak to. And we actually also ensure that the team can develop the confidence to speak to clients and develop their own communication skills and their own style of working with clients, and allowing them to build within their business. So rather than feeling that they have to leave after 12 months to find a new or better job, they can stay within Fresh and grow within it. And that was also something that's very important, to have retaining employees, so that we then build this really interesting, digital accounting firm.
Yeah, amazing. So Alex, I would really want to know your point of view in education perspective. How do you think it will help?
Yeah, actually, first thing, digitization is changing every day. Okay, every day the term is different. And actually, from my perspective, we will have more training from the basic perspective, from a design thinking. Okay, and I highly recommend all of you to spend time and money, okay, to have a training of your staff, starting from the design thinking. And then you, because of the changing digital world, everything is new, okay? And we should think something out of the box every day. And that's important for the people as a team to do anything. Sometimes if we just try to solve a problem by using the traditional way, you can't find a better way. Just like, for example, the e-payment, okay, in Hong Kong, okay, is up and running, but in China, the mainland China, whole mainland China is doing e-payment, okay, but Hong Kong is not the worst place, okay. In Japan, all the transactions are in cash, okay, even in cash and coins up to now, and but sometimes we need to change our mind to think out of the box and to find the best way to solve the things. And I think the more training, okay, classroom training is important. Of course, nowadays online training, but face-to-face interaction is important. Just like now, okay, we have a conference here. I think it's good because we can have more response, okay, from the audiences. We can try to brainstorm and then find something new. And so I think from the education perspective, we should have more online courses. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we need to have something to work together to find things to solve an old problem by using a new way. And but one important thing is the senior people, okay, the senior guys, they need to adopt to listen to the answer, okay. Otherwise, they will just use the old way, and that's what I want to say, okay.
Yeah, I love how you say that, because it's adopting a new challenging, a new practice, digital new thing. We all act like a baby, right? We need to learn things. We need to inject information and knowledge into our mind to be open. And the most important thing is we want to be open in learning things, and our value for a customer should be, the same, as a team, so that we can deliver the highest value of service to the customer. So I think at the end, to make all this work, we need to have an open mindset. We need to have a great value, that the same value in a team, great clarity of what we want to achieve, and communication are the key as well. So I thank you so much for all of you panels, for sharing your experience and knowledge with everyone here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Lily, Martin, Paul, and Alex, for that fantastic discussion. I hope that you, as our attendees, found it useful and that you're now feeling inspired to continue in your digital transformation journey. If you have any questions for the panel, please do contact them directly. We'll be moving on to our next session very shortly, but before that, let me leave you with an advert from our service sponsors, DocuSign.
Welcome to the DocuSign Agreement Cloud. Every industry, every organization, every department, everywhere in the world relies on agreements. The DocuSign Agreement Cloud finally allows you to digitally connect, automate, accelerate, and simplify the way you prepare, sign, act, and manage agreements better. We call that being more agreeable. DocuSign Agreement Cloud.